What's up, everybody? This is Chris Broussard from Fox Sports. And like all of you, I'm sure I just got done watching The Last Dance on ESPN, the first two parts of the 10-part documentary series on Michael Jordan's last season with the Chicago Bulls. And first, let me say, I thought it was tremendous so far. I love the way they went back in time and explained where Michael Jordan's competitiveness came from, gave the backstories on Scottie Pippen and Jerry Krause. And it was really well done. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And so, what I'm going to do over these next, I don't know, 15 minutes or so is just kind of share some of my thoughts and my initial reactions as I watched the documentary. Obviously, this brought back tremendous memories for me. I began covering the NBA. My first season was the 1995-96 season. I was the beat writer for the Akron Beacon Journal covering the Cleveland Cavaliers. And that, of course, was the first year of Michael Jordan's second three-peat. So I covered all the NBA during those 3 years of this three-peat they had. So the first thing I want to say, and I'll start off being nice because you do have to give Jerry Krause credit for the way he built the Chicago Bulls around Michael Jordan. He didn't draft Michael Jordan. You give Rod Thorne the credit for that. Obviously, he fell into their lap as the third pick. Let me say this quickly. This is a lesson, yet another lesson, that you always draft the best player, don't go by position, go by who is the best player on the board. We saw Michael Jordan go third. It's hard to argue, even though he obviously is better than Hakeem Olajuwon, but Olajuwon got the Rockets 2 championships. So, it paid dividends in that regard. But the second pick, Portland went with Sam Bowie because they had Clyde Drexler as their swing man, which is essentially the same position Michael Jordan was. And look, Clyde Drexler is an all-time great. He's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best small forwards to ever play the game. And so you can understand why they said it. Logically, you would say, we've got Drexler, who might be as good as Jordan, if not better. And so why do we, let's go for a big man. At that time in the NBA, you needed big men to win championships. And so logically, it made sense. But in hindsight, for those of you future GMs out there, we can say, look, they would have been better off taking Michael Jordan. First of all, Clyde Drexler told me, and this was just a few years ago, I talked with Clyde Drexler, and he said he was telling Portland to draft Michael Jordan. Even though we're similar as far as our positions, draft Michael Jordan. We can play together. And they could have played together. Drexler individually was better than Scottie Pippen, individually. And so Drexler and Jordan could have been the Jordan and Pippen duo. So the bottom line, again, draft the best player. And I'm learning as well. I've learned this years ago, but that's one example. I also remember when the Miami Heat, Pat Riley did the right thing when he drafted Dwayne Wade in 2003, I believe, with the 5th pick. And they already had Eddie Jones as their starting two guard, who was an all-star starting two guard. And I said, why are they drafting Dwayne Wade when they have Eddie Jones? They have needs elsewhere. But Pat Riley did the right thing, drafted the best player regardless of position. And the rest is history, of course, with Dwayne Wade, leading them to 1 championship and being the second best player on 2 championships, of course, with LeBron James. So that's just an aside. All right, let me get back to Jerry Krause. I'm going to be nice first. As I said, he did a good job in building the team around Jordan. He went out and discovered Scottie Pippen. Now, again, obviously they had to move up to get him. So other teams were beginning to be aware of Pippen and knew he was a good player. But to draft a kid out of Central Arkansas, an NAIA school, that takes some guts. And so I do have to give Jerry Krause credit for that. You know, obviously he swung the trade with Seattle for Olden Polynice and went ahead and got Scottie Pippen to team up with Jordan. Great move there. Also getting Horace Grant, who was a very good power forward on those championship teams in the first go-round. So credit for that. And then trading Charles Oakley, who was a Jordan favorite and obviously became a good player in his own right. But getting Bill Cartwright for him was the right thing to do. Cartwright, a very good center for the Bulls and for Jordan. And so I give Jerry Krause the credit that he deserves for helping to build that team. That said, what he did to break up the Chicago Bulls prematurely. Now, maybe they would not have been able to win their fourth straight championship, but you do not break up a championship team that is, Jordan said it best after they won their fifth. He said, we deserve the opportunity to defend what we have built. Don't let the front office break up a championship team. Let somebody beat us on the court. I couldn't agree more. Breaking up that team is the unpardonable sin in sports. That's unpardonable. You are not a general manager to have fun playing fantasy, basketball, football, baseball, whatever. Your job is twofold: to win championships, and secondly, to make the franchise money. That was happening when they had that team together. So for Jerry Krause to be upset that he wasn't getting enough credit, to be bothered by the slights that he felt Jordan and other players, or even Phil Jackson, put his way, that is irrelevant. The nature of your job is to be behind the scenes. You're not, I mean, if you get credit, great, but that's not what it's about. Jordan, Pippen, Phil Jackson, Rodman, Winnington, they get the credit. And if you can't understand that, then go do something else. You not only robbed Michael Jordan, the greatest player of all time, of a chance to defend his title for the third time or seventh time, however you want to look at it. You robbed Scottie Pippen of that. You robbed the rest of the players. You robbed Phil Jackson, and you robbed basketball and all of its fans. My gosh, it would have been great to see if the Bulls could beat Duncan and David Robinson, which would have been the matchup in '99 had the Bulls gotten there. So that is terrible, and I can't speak against it enough. And it's just horrible. Michael Jordan said it. The Chicago Cubs spent 42 years, which I think was even an understatement, rebuilding. You don't know if you're ever going to be able to rebuild a championship team. So that is horrible. And Jerry Krause deserves the criticism that he's going to get for that. To tell Phil Jackson you can go 82-0 and still not come back as the coach, what is that about? That is not, you're mad at Jordan for having an ego and Pippen for having an ego and Phil Jackson for having an ego? What is that? That's nothing but ego. Saying if he goes 82-0, he won't be the coach again. So let me say this from the get-go. I don't want that, for me at least, I know we're going to do the inevitable and compare Jordan to the players of the day, most notably LeBron James. They are the two greatest players we've ever seen. But I don't want this just to be every little thing has to be compared to LeBron and all that. But what I will say is when you see something like this in the front office, a front office prematurely breaking up a championship team, it should give you as fans an appreciation for what LeBron James has done. I know a lot of people out there criticize LeBron for his initiating the era of player empowerment by taking his destiny into his own hands so he could not get screwed like Jordan and Pippen and Phil Jackson did. He has said if the front office can do that, ownership can do that, then I'm taking my future into my own hands. I will never get screwed like that. So I give credit to LeBron for doing that, and it's worked for him. He's got 3 championships, and all 3 of those teams he helped orchestrate. He helped orchestrate all of them. He helped get, let's face it, Anthony Davis wouldn't be with the Lakers if it wasn't for LeBron. And LeBron taking on power as a player. So all of you who've been killing LeBron for building his team and, not playing nice with the front office and ownership and all that, you ought to change your tune after seeing this.